having their trilogy. So he could not handle or could not have scripted it any better. It's perfect.
Thanks.
You dodged me too, Chandler.
Hey, that's not true. Hey,
Every person out here except for this guy right here that's sitting next to me.
hey, that's not true.
I'm gonna be real, man.
Tony.
The other side, those are the other
You could have. Hey, you
losers.
could have.
We're coming over here to this side's victory table.
You could have fought me January 23rd, and I would have done the same thing to you.
Hey, man, you said no, man. I'm gonna be real. You got handed to you. You got Dana White privilege.
Tony. Thanks, Dana.
However, it's the guy predicted Pierre Jan to be Rob, and today we're gonna be doing a Dana White privilege tier list. So we all know about Dana White privilege and shit. So let's get into it. Alex Pereira, he doesn't have any Dana White privilege. Alex Pereira joined the promotion and has been insanely active. I even know he's probably had like 13, 14 fights, and he's probably been fighting being part of the UFC for 3 years. And every single time, so many times Alex Pereira has saved events and just gotten great knockouts and everything and stuff like that. So if Alex Pereira gets some Dana White privilege in the future, for example, maybe he gets a title shot at heavyweight when there's other contenders and stuff, it's still gonna be pretty bullshit. But there's one guy who deserves Dana White privilege, like Alex Pereira. Then next, Islam Makhachev. He also doesn't have any Dana White privilege. Before Islam Makhachev got the belt, he had a very long road to get a title shot, and has defended the belt the most times, and has now got a chance to, defended at lightweight, so now he's got a chance to get to move up. He deserves that shit. Then Michael Chandler. This guy has insane Dana White privilege. First of all, he joined the promotion 2021 or something. His first fight was top 5 Dan Hooker. He got the KO over Dan Hooker, got a title shot against Charles Oliveira after one fight, which is pretty crazy. Then, after that, he got to fight Justin Gaethje, I think, after he lost to Charles Oliveira. He got to fight Dustin Poirier, got to fight Tony Ferguson, then he got to fight Charles Oliveira again, then he got to fight Paddy Pimblett. So this guy loses every single fight, but he still gets the biggest names. And he nearly got a Conor fight, and he probably is going to fight Conor McGregor at the White House. So this guy just gets the biggest names ever. It's like kind of like Michael Chandler in the UFC is like a kid who's been given a PS5 every single time for Christmas, but if you give him a PS4 for Christmas this year, or PS4, he's gonna cry and stuff, even though he doesn't deserve it. Like, what has Michael Chandler done to deserve a Conor McGregor fight? But if you offer him like a fight against a Ray Am or like another top 15 guy, Michael Chandler's gonna cry and have a fit like he got a Xbox 3, got a PS4 instead of a PS5 for Christmas. So yeah. Then next, Justin Gaethje. Yeah, he has some Dana White privilege. It's a title shot, whether it's an interim belt or whether it's a main belt or whether it's a BMF belt. They always make a title for this guy, and yeah. And Justin Gaethje, last one was against Rafael Fiziev, and he was like, if I don't get a title shot, I'm gonna retire. And then now he has literally gotten a chance at the interim belt. So yeah, that's privilege right there. The fact that he's one win and he gets a chance at the interim belt. So he has some Dana White privilege, but obviously doesn't have insane Dana White privilege. Then Diego Lopez. This guy has insane Dana White privilege. Got 50-45 against Volkanovski, is now fighting, now beats Diego Lopez because Diego Lopez decided to be retired, and now he's getting a shot at the belt. In a fight which no one wants to see. No one wants to see Diego Lopez versus Alexander Volkanovski too. Also, Diego Lopez has Mexican privilege because he's a Mexican for some reason. Dana White sucks his penis or something like that. I don't know. But for some reason, he's a Mexican. That doesn't mean you deserve a fucking title shot. Volkanovski, please, can you jab Diego Lopez head off. Please, please, please. 50-45 him, make it the most boring fight in the world, just so you can say Diego Lopez never deserved that fight against Alexander Volkanovski again. The next, Mozlov, he has negative Dana White privilege. The true fairway contender, no one cares about Diego Lopez ass who got 50-45 eggs on Volkanovski. 50-45, 50-45, 50-45, 50-45, 50-45. But yeah, Mozlov, he's been Aljamain Sterling's last fight. He's been on and he has beaten Diego Lopez. So yeah, he deserves the next title shot. The UFC do not like creating fights with the fans want to see, and they think Mexicans are stars, but no, Mexicans sell 0 pay-per-views. And if Diego Lopez becomes champion in Mexico, no one's gonna care. But yeah, unfortunately, Mozlov hasn't got a title shot, and we have to ruin waste Volk's career for Diego Lopez dumbass. Then next, Aljamain Sterling. He has no Dana White privilege, or he might have negative, because I remember he beat Henry Cejudo in the title shot. Then like a few months later, like literally 2-3 months later, he had to fight Sean O'Malley, and apparently he had an injury, or he still had an injury and he just fought and stuff, so obviously his body still needed time to recover and stuff like that. And then Sean O'Malley got the KO. But also Sean O'Malley was injured in that fight and literally, if he got touched or grabbed, his rib would have been broken. So I think it was an equal fight. But yeah, they kind of did Aljamain Sterling dirty by making him have to fight again so soon after defending against Henry Cejudo. Then Conor McGregor, he has insane Dana White privilege. Obviously Conor McGregor has done some stuff in his life, and he's still part of the UFC. So yeah, if he was just if he wasn't Conor McGregor, I'm pretty sure he would have got cut. But yeah, Conor McGregor. Hopefully his spiritual awakening is gonna work. Then next, Muhammad Mokaev, he has negative Dana White privilege. Because Muhammad Mokaev apparently got cut because like backstage he would get in fights and brawls and stuff like that. But Conor McGregor has done the same thing in other fights and stuff. And Muhammad Mokaev, since getting cut from the UFC, has won 3 fights in a row, got a beautiful KO. So I think it's now time he deserves to get re-signed to the UFC. And guy who has a big following, a quite interesting character game in the UFC. He has negative Dana White privilege. Dana doesn't like him, so he's not in the UFC. But resign his ass, please. Then Merab Dvalishvili. Merab has no Dana White privilege. He does have negative, but we're gonna see how much Dana White privilege Merab has if he gets a rematch against Pierre Yan. But Merab fought had to fight 10 times before getting the belt, but that was also partly because of his choice. When Aljamain Sterling was the champion, Merab chose he would never want to fight Aljamain Sterling, so he literally chose for himself to have a longer route to the belt. But yeah, Merab doesn't have any Dana White privilege. But we're gonna see how much. But he definitely deserves it. If there's one guy who deserves a trilogy nowadays, because fights get rematches, which they don't deserve and stuff, like Diego Lopez and stuff. But Merab is truly a person who deserves a trilogy fight against Pierre Yan. The next, Steven Miocic. I think he definitely has quite a lot of Dana White privilege. The fact that he got knocked out by Francis Ngannou in a very non-competitive fight. Then when John Jones then John Jones versus Stipe was going to be made, I think like 2023, 2024, something like that. And that fight was supposed to happen. John Jones pulls out. They call up Tom Aspinall like, hey, you want to come in and fight for the interim belt or something? You want to be a replacement for John Jones? And then Steven Miocic literally rejects the fight. He rejects that shit. He's like, no, Tom Aspinall's going to knock me out in 1 minute. I would rather have a easier fight with John Jones. He rejects that, and then they do interim bout with Pavlovich and Aspinall, and then we wait 12 years for John Jones to fight again, and then Tom Aspinall is literally the interim champion. Then he still gets a title shot. Stipe Miocic still gets a title shot, despite rejecting fighting other fighters besides John Jones. And the last one he had was like 4 years ago at this point. And yeah, literally the reason why the heavyweight division is ruined because Stipe Miocic rejected the interim title fight against Tom Aspinall. So yeah, the fact that Stipe Miocic got a title shot against John Jones is insane Dana White privilege, even though his last win was like 4 years ago. And Aspinall was like just knocking everyone out in a minute and stuff, and truly deserved the belt. And this is the reason why the heavyweight division is so messed up. Is because the UFC just, for their dumbass reasoning, decided to give Stipe Miocic a title shot, which would sell 0 pay-per-views, and no one gives a fuck about Stipe at that point of time. Then next, Arman Tsarukyan. He has negative Dana White privilege. Obviously, he's not getting the title shot and stuff when he probably deserves it the most. Then Kamaru Usman. He has some Dana White privilege. We're gonna see how much Dana White privilege whether he actually gets a title shot against Islam Makhachev, which will be bullshit. Then Bilal Muhammad. He has negative Dana White privilege. He had to fight 8-9 fights to get a title shot, and even while he was in his win streak, Colby Covington literally got a title shot before Bilal Muhammad, and now since Bilal Muhammad has lost the belt, then Colby Covington has insane Dana White privilege. After his first title loss against Kamaru Usman, he beat Tyron Woodley with 1 fight, and then he got another title shot against Kamaru Usman. Then he beat Jorge Masvidal. Apparently he weighed in for an event. Then he hasn't fought for I don't know for how long. Then he weighed in for an event, and apparently that got him a title shot. After that, so he beat Jorge Masvidal and got another title shot against Leon Edwards. That's pretty insane Dana White privilege. Then Mateusz Gamrot. He has no Dana White privilege, or somewhere in the negatives. Gamrot weighed in for UFC 294 for Charles Oliveira vs Islam Makhachev 2, made weight, but the UFC still decided to do Islam Makhachev vs Volkanovski 2, and he didn't get a title shot. Mateusz Gamrot has weighed in for quite a few events as a backup, and he's never got a title shot, but Colby Covington weighs in for 1 event, and apparently that earns him a title shot. So yeah, Gamrot doesn't have any Dana White privilege. Then Israel Adesanya, he has some Dana White privilege. After Adesanya lost to Sean Strickland, he got a title shot against Rigo Suplessis. But obviously that was a big fight at the time. But it's so dumb they didn't do it in Africa. They should try who cares if there's no roof or stadium? Just use a bigger stadium and sell more tickets and create a better atmosphere, instead of having a small roof, which is so dumb from Dana White. But anyway, yeah, he got a title shot even though he lost his last fight. Obviously got the Pereira rematch and stuff, even though he lost twice before in kickboxing. But obviously I understand because he's like a star and stuff, those fights were marketable and the fights fans always wanted to see. Then Leon Edwards, he has negative Dana White privilege. After he lost the belt, he's just been given nightmare matchups. Like he was matched up with Jack Dale Maddalena. That's an absolute nightmare matchup for Leon Edwards. Then Sean Brady was a replacement, which is also a nightmare matchup for Leon Edwards. Then he was given Carlos Pradas after he lost to Sean Brady. Got knocked out. That's also an absolute nightmare matchup for Leon Edwards. Then Kai Sakura has insane Dana White privilege. The guy never even fought before, and his first fight in the UFC was a title shot. John Jones also has insane Dana White privilege. He probably has the most Dana White privilege in UFC history. Yeah. John Jones definitely knows a thing or two about Dana White in the bedroom. That's why John Jones gets away with all the stuff he does. Then Sam Alvey. This guy also has insane Dana White privilege. This guy was on a 7-fight losing streak and still never got cut from the UFC. He definitely knows some things about Dana White which shouldn't be leaked or something. Aspinall, he has native Dana White privilege. Obviously with the art thing and stuff, Dana White's probably gonna not like Tom Aspinall as much. Also, the fact Tom Aspinall had to wait around for John Jones and stuff. And Stipe Miocic getting title shots instead of Tom Aspinall and stuff. He has negative Dana White privilege. That was just very stupid moves from the UFC. Why would you do Stipe Miocic versus John Jones first instead of Tom Aspinall? Stipe Miocic is as boring as a fire truck. No, it's a firefighter. It's a fire truck. But yeah. Then Paulo Costa. He has some Dana White privilege. I think I remember against Vettori. After he lost Adesanya, he had to fight with Vettori. And then the UFC, Paulo Costa just decided not to make weight. And then they just moved the fight to a catch weight. And ever since then, Paulo Costa's been given some good names, star power, and some good matchups and stuff. So yeah, Paulo has some Dana White privilege. Then Lerone Murphy, he has no Dana White privilege. Deserves the next title shot instead of Diego Lopez, dumbass, and would probably sell more pay-per-views than Diego Lopez. Then Paddy Pimblett has insane Dana White privilege. Paddy Pimblett gained the top. Paddy Pimblett's probably had one of the easiest roads to the title. But even though in hindsight people were saying Chandler's gonna KO Paddy Pimblett and stuff, and Paddy Pimblett's always been down in his fight, so you can't really say. But now people are saying it was an easy title road, but people are making it seem more easier now because Paddy Pimblett made Chandler, Bobby Green, and stuff like that. They made them all look washed. But yeah, Paddy Pimblett's title road has been pretty sus. So people were saying it's Dana White privilege. Yeah, it's true. Then Nate Diaz has insane Dana White privilege. Nate Diaz is one of the worst fighters of all time, but still gets given some of the best matchups and stuff. Obviously because he's a star and stuff, I get it. Francis Ngannou has negative Dana White privilege and stuff. Yeah, if you try to put your hands on Dana, then you're not gonna have that Dana White privilege. You get me? Then Sean O'Malley, he has insane Dana White privilege. After he outpoked Pedro Munoz, I don't even think Sean O'Malley was probably like just top 15 or outside the rankings. He then got a fight against Pierre Yan. But Sean O'Malley's win streak was pretty long and impressive, so I get that. And then his first title defense is Chia Vera, which I don't even know if he really deserved the title shot that time. But that's like an easy title defense. Then he loses to Merab. He has a rematch against Merab again, straight after losing. So yeah, so Dana White privilege tier list, cook or not. This is your boy Sas from me.